Welcome to On Point Live. Back with you again this week. I'm your host, Michael Horn. But the stars of our show, the fearless quarterback of the Rams, so many great years, the one and only Vince Ferragamo, ladies and gentlemen, another running back, a guy, a Pro Bowler, four-time NFC Offensive Lineman of the Year, Mr. Jackie Slater with us. And we're going to be here again this week analyzing the final weeks of the season. How's it going for you, gentlemen?
Hey, we're ready, Mike. This is New Year's this week.
It is a brand new year.
Yeah, and I'm just
we might get a few of these things right.
Celebrate. Yeah,
Some of the best football, professional football that's ever been played is being played now.
It is.
And
You
the
guys-
Rams are division champs.
They
How's
are.
that, Jackie?
Yeah,
They made it back. starting
made it
1-4 of the season. Now they're back on top.
Unbelievable.
They
Isn't that
snuck
something?
right back in again.
Resilient.
And along with the new year, we're giving away some great Harmony Cheese. That's our sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com. Harmony Cheese Pack, along with a wine pack here, a bottle of wine from the Vince Ferragamo Vineyards. Am I
Super
right?
Tuscan, right?
Yeah,
Michael?
Super
Goes
Tuscan.
great with wine.
Now we're getting lots of
Great with
entries.
cheese.
Getting lots of entries. All you got to do is send us your name, address, and your phone number, and send it to our website, onpoint@crntalk.com. Again, that's onpoint@crntalk.com. Don't forget, check out our website, On Point Live. Our YouTube channel's got our video up there every
And don't
week.
forget to follow us, Mike, on Instagram.
Yeah.
At on.point.live.
on.point.live.
There you go.
All right. Subscribe to our On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Don't forget our email, onpoint@crntalk.com. Harmony Cheese. Jackie, you like that one. That's where you pick up some of the great cheese.
definitely.
Abigail.
Yeah. By the way, it was the Christmas time, and your refrigerator was set up like a cheese display at a mall.
Well,
what did you serve for your holiday cheese?
Well, just a little bit of everything. You can't exclude any one of the cheese selections that I have. I have 5 different ones, and they all
do you have a
tasty.
favorite, a personal favorite?
Yeah,
The
well,
Jackie Slater
I'm
choice?
falling in love with all of it. I mean, it is really, really good cheese, and I'm Vince
You've been
will tell
talking
you.
Abergele. You've been talking
Yeah,
about
the
that.
Abergele is excellent, but there's a couple of others there that are very nice.
And
as
you're the
well.
wine guy, Merlot. You like that Merlot infused cheese, Vince?
And it all goes good with wine, Mike. All that cheese. So it's a
Especially-
delicacy.
especially the Carissa J.
Oh yeah.
The Carissa J cheese is great. It's a great blend for you, too. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to remind you, don't forget to enter our contest. Send your name and address onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. Check out our website, onpointlive.net. We'll be right back. And now for Harmony Cheese, here are Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater.
Indulge in the exquisite flavors of Harmony cheese, crafted with passion and precision in Athens, Wisconsin.
Our signature golden aged cheeses are a symphony of taste. From the tangy sweetness of cranberry and orange Abergele to the rich, buttery smoothness of our aged Gloucester.
Elevate your charcuterie board with our show-stopping Merlot cheddar, or savor the unique combination of flavors in our Portobello and Chive Abergele.
Harmony Cheese, rooted in Wisconsin tradition, crafted for discerning palates. Visit our cheese shop in Athens or shop online at harmonycheese.com.
Don't forget to visit our cheese shop in Athens or shop online at harmonycheese.com.
That's harmonycheese.com. Welcome back, On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, and Vince. I think you kicked it off here at the beginning of the show. You mentioned the Rams are in there. What are you talking about?
Well, they won the West, okay, and they had to play a game against Arizona, one of their divisional foes, but they ended up victorious, Jackie. I was
they
really
did.
expecting a thriller of a game, but, it was kind of a lackluster game for me because there was only, 22 points scored in the game, 13-9, and there was missed opportunities, I think, for both sides. It was kind of a sloppy game in most part, but the Rams came up victorious, and that's what it's the bottom line is who wins the game.
And you're absolutely right, Vince. The bottom line is who won the game. And the interesting thing to me when I looked at this game is the fact that the Rams are a young football team, and they have grown to be a a football team that eyes the prize. They are looking to the playoffs. They played the kind of football. I mean, when you look at what happened, at the time of possession, the Cardinals had 36 minutes. They had the ball at 23. They had 74 plays to 54 plays. They had 24 first downs to 12 first downs, twice as many. Right. But the problem is they turned the football over twice. And the Rams and Sean McVay, they understand this. If you turn the football over 2 times or more, you have an 80% chance of losing that ball game. And you couple that with the aggression that they're playing with this young, tenacious defense that they have and the quarterback they have, just the way that they go about doing their business makes the Rams an awfully tough team to beat.
And they've won 5 in a row, Jackie, which signals why they're doing it, because they're well coached. Okay, they're not making mistakes. He's not turning the ball over.
Situationally well.
Exactly, and they're getting a good pass rush, Jack. They're stopping teams, and they're coming up with sacks and timely turnovers.
Pass coverage, they're doing a good job.
They haven't been lighting the world on fire by scoring. They've had a pretty good defense, but the scoring's been low.
Well, and that in part had to do with the injuries to the offensive line. Even right now, Rob Havenstein, who, in my opinion, is the best arguably the best right tackle in all of pro football, he's been in and out of the lineup. And Joe Noteboom, who's probably better suited to play inside or maybe even left tackle, he played right tackle for them and, was victimized with 3 holding penalties in that game. So they were operating somewhat handcuffed, when you look at their strength.
But Jackie, they also, to get the clinching of the division, there was like a mastermind chart over there. The Rams could win if one of the following had like 5 games. 3 of the 5 had to happen here on this. Buffalo had to win their game. Cleveland had to win their game. Minnesota their game. 49ers their game. Washington Commanders had to win theirs. You had the Commanders winning, the Vikings winning, the Buffalo Bills. That shot them in, Vince. So, they clinched the division, but they needed a little bit of help instead of going to the last week.
Well, Mike, it was strength of schedule because they would have ended up, had they had to play next week or this coming week against Seattle, they would have been tied. Yeah. So it would come down to what team had the stronger schedule that they played, and then that would be declared the divisional winner. But, sometimes, Mike, I'd rather be lucky than good, okay, because there was a lot of things in this game.
There's that great catch that they made in that end zone.
Wait a minute.
That was spectacular.
Let's stop. Wait, before we talk about that catch, let's talk about the missed extra point that was blocked by the Rams. Okay. The score was 13-9. It would have been 13-10 with that last drive at the end. They wouldn't have had to go for the touchdown. Okay, but Chad Ryland has taken the place of Matt Prater. Okay, Matt Prater, can you believe, Jackie, a kicker getting hurt? There's a lot of kickers in the league who've gotten hurt for some reason. It's mind-blowing for me. But, that, and then the questionable call on the first drive or the third drive of the game with the score tied 0-0. No one scored. Mike, and one of the rule of thumbs in NFL, in my mind, is if you drive the ball and you come up short on 3rd down, okay, it's 4th down, kick the field goal. They were on the 18-yard line. They decided to go for it. They got it stuffed. Okay, that gave the Rams some life. Sometimes it's a play that just needs to rejuvenate the team. Jackie, and get them going. That was one of the plays. There was another questionable call by the booth that wasn't reviewed with 2 minutes to go. Puka Nacua caught the ball almost for a first down, and it was questioned whether or not he gained enough yardage for the first down. They didn't review it in the booth, which they should have, and 2 minutes gave the Rams a first down. Yeah, and they went down and scored on that drive.
Yeah, they did.
So are you saying there's a little home cooking going on over here so far?
Hey, I'm in Rams' house, man.
That's what the fans say. Whose house?
Rams' house. They get all the calls.
Absolutely.
At some point in time, those calls are not going to always go your way.
Yeah, but Vince, that the Rams are the first team to allow fewer than 10 points in 3 consecutive games. And that speaks volumes for their defense, how it has grown this season. All those young guys, young studs that they were dependent on. These guys now, they know what it's like to be a pro. They're pro football players now, and they're playing at a real high clip. Another thing that jumped out at me is they've won 5 games in a row for the first time since 2021. Yeah. That's a big accomplishment when you think about it, Vince. And the Rams are the first team in NFL history to make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons when they were down 3 games. They were 3 games under 500 at one point in time. Now, that says something about the consistency and the way they go about doing their business as they preach to these kids. the importance of enduring tough times and prevailing in the end. That speaks volumes for this coaching staff.
Really does. It's something else. And there was a kicker there. Was it Chad Ryland? Was that the guy?
Yeah, he was the one who missed the extra point.
The extra point.
He made a field goal.
He was
but
on
missed the extra
Arizona.
point. Yeah, it was on.
It was right in
Arizona,
front of
yeah.
him. I think I could have made that kick with some help.
He got it blocked. Okay, so they came right up the middle and they blocked it.
Yeah, they came out.
So, but you know what? Even at the call at the end of the game, I have one question with you guys.
What's
that? There have been too many subjective calls by the referees this year that have gone either way.
I agree.
And I need to take the subjectivity out of football. Okay, it needs to be clear cut, black or white. Okay, when my grandson says, I thought when the ball hits the ground, it's an incomplete pass. I says, you're right. So you have to have complete control of the ball going down, and it cannot strike the ground. Now, if it strikes the ground, they've overruled it and said he had control. Well, let me tell you, if you have control of the ball, you can maneuver the ball so it doesn't hit the ground first. So you're using the ground as a crutch. That is an incomplete. Every pass I've ever seen that the ball hits the ground through a completion of a pass has always been incomplete.
You have not stopped talking about this since that game this last weekend. It's bothering you. Jackie, help us out here.
I can't help him.
Hey, I'm just telling you the way it is. I don't like referees as a rule anyway.
I thought the guy had control of the football. I thought he had it in both hands.
Complete control.
I thought he had it in both hands.
I did.
As it touched the ground.
Yeah.
Now, and it didn't move in his hands. So that implied to me that he had control of it. He hit the ground.
If he has
complete
complete control, you can turn the ball before it hits the ground. That's
now,
my
what
point.
Vince is saying, complete control, says that when he had his hands on it, he should have been able to maneuver the ball in such a way that it never touched the ground.
Do we have a video of that? Do we? Yeah. So if we can, let's take a look at it. You radio listeners can listen to the TV call, and then we'll have the gentleman here, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, talk about it. Roll that for us, please, Corey.
Catches it for an interception. So let's see if this is right.
We got it coming up here for you. Yeah, we got it going here. It's going to play for you in just a second. Yeah. Backing it up. Make sure it's ready to go and signed up.
It's a long replay.
Well, it has to touch the ground. They're trying to back it up so that it can't actually hit the ground.
And it was something that you really do need to take another look at. There's no
Let's
doubt
take a look
about
at it right now. Okay, go ahead.
You
Roll
need
it.
to take another look
Roll
at
it, Corey.
and send it to
send it
to New York. Have
Here it
them
is.
take a look at it as well. You can see this ball pops up, and right there he has it in his hands, and then it touches the ground right there. But he never loses control of it.
You saw that. We didn't see it here on our side of the. You're amazing, Jackie Slater. Didn't come up on our monitor, that's for sure.
Well, I'm just saying it was one of those things where Vince, it looked like he had control of the ball as he was going down.
Yeah.
It touched the ground without moving in his hands. And I think that was the reason why. Because there was no movement whatsoever, they concluded that he had control of the ball.
Yeah, let me say one more thing, too. It was a great catch by Witherspoon. Yes, he did. And, they're calling it an interception. But Kyler Murray has to have some anticipation when he's throwing routes, and he has to have more accuracy, Jackie. That ball hit McBride in the helmet as he's coming out of the break. That ball needs to be thrown low and outside. Could have been a touchdown.
Let's talk about when we come back here. We got a little bit more to discuss. You're in tune with On Point Live. It is Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. Check out our website, onpointlive.net. Our YouTube video right there. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Instagram, on.point.live. HarmonyCheese.com brings you this whole show. And a reminder, enter our contest for a cheese pack and some wine from Vince's Vineyard. Just send your name and address, onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. We'll be back. Welcome back, On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, our commentators of the day today. The website, onpointlive.net. Go there and check it out. And by the way, when you're there, subscribe to our YouTube channel, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. You can see our podcast there. You can see our YouTube video. Check us out on Instagram, on.point.live. Our sponsor is HarmonyCheese.com. And real quick, Harmony Cheese, the greatest cheese right from the Midwest, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Packer fans, listen up. And I'll tell you, they put together special packages. Vince Ferragamo has a winery. And you have added a Carissa J wine, which I had over the holidays, by the way. Sangiovese with a nice finish of Cabernet Sauvignon and a little Merlot, you said you put in.
Merlot, 15 gallons of Merlot.
15 gallons of Merlot in the blend. It is fabulous. Where do we get your wines? What's your website, by the way?
Well, you can go to VinceFerragamoVineyards.com. You can sign up as a guest. You can sign up to be a club member, whatever you want.
buy
Take
it
a
out.
look at them. Yeah,
Vince
there's a
Ferragamo
lineup of wines that are really good.
All right, but you're going to go there and go to On Point at crntalk.com, On Point at CRN, as in Championship Radio Network.
Yeah, but actually the best way to get a hold of his wine is to be a friend of his and go over and visit.
Jackie's
Come
got
help us
some-
harvest and prune and whatever you want to do.
On Point at crntalk.com. Enter with your name, address, and phone number. We've already got many entries. Next week, we're going to select our first winner. You get the cheese pack from harmonycheese.com. Vince Ferragamo wine should be great. Have a good time for you there, too. Now, just before the end of that last segment, Vince Ferragamo, you had a little bit more to say about the quarterback at Arizona, Kyler Murray.
Well, if you listen to the coaches around the league and let's listen to Gerard Mayo, what he had to say to recap his season. They've only won. They'll be the first pick in this coming draft because they've had an off year. But he talks about players being consistent, and the inconsistency drives failure. So you really need to focus and really prepare yourself. I think a player like Kyler Murray, okay, there's been too many inconsistencies with his play. Okay, drafted number 1 out of college, out of Oklahoma, the Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah, has all these accolades. Yeah, he's great, can fast, can move around. He's 5'10". Jackie, you've always mentioned it's a big man's game, okay? The release point from the pocket is such that you can't see the ball coming out of the hand of the quarterback when you have 6'3", 6'5", 6'7", 6'9" linemen in front of you. So the trajectory is not right. His accuracy is not sharp. When he rolls out, he can run, he can make yards. But you need to take something off the ball when you're delivering the pass. So, you know, the way the game has evolved now, you have to be multi-talented, Michael, but you also have to be in control.
Consistent.
And consistent. And I think that's the biggest downfall. And Jason Gannon will find a way.
I don't know, Vince.
Jonathan
I
Gannon
got to
will.
kind of almost disagree with that because they
Go
only
ahead.
they only got one guy that's 6'7" on their starting offensive line.
He ain't going to throw over that guy then on the right side.
They got a left tackle that's 6'3". Their right guard is 6'3". Their left guard is 6'3". So the right tackle is 6'7", and their center is 6'5". So this guy's, 6'3", you ought to be able to see over 6'3". It's not like you're throwing over a 6'9" right guard like they have up there in Philly. You have got to be able to see that. And he's done well when he was in college. So I don't know that I want to say this guy is too short to play quarterback in the NFL.
Geometrics don't indicate that visual point when you look at guys 20 yards down the field when they're looking back towards the quarterback in the pocket of a formation. You don't see up and you don't see down. You see on a straight line. So it's very difficult. You can only capture the ball when it's coming out of
Let me solve this
line
one.
of scrimmage.
Can I solve this one between you two, Vince Ferragamo
Yes.
and Jackie Slater? Jackie, you just went to the eye doctor before the show today. You said you did.
Yes,
Look
I
behind
did.
me.
I'm dilated right now as
I'm
we speak.
6'3". What do you see behind me? You see that elephant behind me right now?
No.
Give us a 3 shot. Let's see if the fans
Oh, boy.
see that elephant. Do
That's
ya?
a good one right
Okay,
there.
there you go, Vince.
3 dimensions.
I got to talk about some. And by the way, one other final thought. Seriously, I was in Hawaii before you guys gave me the nod to join you here on this show. I was waiting for the big call from headquarters. Right. And fans were there in this lounge that we were at from Arizona. There was an Arizona game being played. I think it was Arizona Rams, their first meeting. And they said our quarterback is inconsistent.
Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And so the fans know
But
it.
they
And
put
that's
41
resurrecting
points. They
today.
put 41 points on the Rams.
inconsistent. I don't know if it was
my
that
goodness,
game or
what
not.
were they looking at?
And then they only put 9 points on the second time they played, Jackie. So
All right, so
that's
let's talk about
inconsistent.
blowout games. Jackie, let's start with last week's games. Eagles 41, Cowboys 7. And a fight at the end of the game, too.
Well, when you talk about blowout games, you got to wonder, why do some teams show up and do well, and some teams show up and they just don't live up to expectation. Now, when you look at what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing right now, They are playing to their strengths. They are using that big physical offensive line of theirs. They're giving the football to Saquon Barkley, and he is producing. Whereas the Giants, on the other hand, we saw them have a dismal season up until this point, and now all of a sudden last week, Vince, they put up, 41 points against someone?
Yeah, the Giants this past week beat 45-33 over the Colts.
Did they get Saquon Barkley back or something?
No.
Okay.
No.
And that's Drew Lock, coming up with 5 touchdowns, Jackie. Malik, their wide receiver, is unbelievable. I mean, he's all over the field.
I know you were talking about him.
I mean, he's going to be a good player.
Well, to me, when you look at this Philadelphia Eagle football team, you got to factor in that they're special because of the way they have built this team, and they built it in areas that have to be physically dominant in order to win games consistently, and that is at their offensive line across the board. They got one of the best in the business, and they're proving it with what they're getting out of Saquon Barkley right now. I mean, this guy is on a tear to rip through our record that's been in place.
He needs
for 40
101
years.
yards to set the league record from your guy's old pal Eric Dickerson. What do you think, Jackie?
Well,
that?
Eric has an opinion about it, and
Eric said something about this.
This is exactly what Eric said. This is what he
personally?
said. This is what Eric said to USA Today.
Okay.
He said these people who say records are meant to be broken. He said you ain't got no record. He said you ain't got no record. Dickerson told USA Today Sports on Sunday after Barkley ripped off his 11th 100-yard game of the season at the expense of the Dallas Cowboys. He said you don't have one. When you get those records, you want to hang on to them no matter if it's bowling or and you have 30 strikes in a row, you don't want nobody to break that. The fastest mile ever, you don't want anybody to come along and break that. Those are true accomplishments that you can look back on that record and feel good. Now, this record has been in place for 40 years. And I was a part of that. But think about it. 40 years, he did that in 16 games. And I think somehow they need to put an asterisk by this new record if he breaks it and said that he had an extra game to do it. If you give Eric Dickerson another game, where might the record be to begin with?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
And he'd be in the front runner as an MVP, if not MVP. Jackie Eustace says the offensive player of the year.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, generally, I think the highest honor that Eric Dickerson had, and Marshall Faulk later in his shoes, these guys were the offensive player of the year. I don't ever remember them being most valuable player of the year.
Asterisk, an important thing. I do believe you got to go by number of games. That's part of the deal, I think. Really does. Now, let's look at another game here. Vince, you take this one. Buffalo, the Bills 40, the Jets. Used to be a favorite team of mine 14 years ago, 14.
Yeah, well, that was a blowout too, Michael. But
really?
the Jets are just embarrassing, okay, just simply put. I mean, the Bills are that good, but, this is professional football. Jackie and I talked about it. You have to come out prepared to play this game week to week. I don't care if you're out of the running or not. You have to show up and you have to play to your best ability. A lot of people take it for granted today. I think you have to be blessed to be in this game, to be able to play, and you got to play like it. Like you earned a job, and you want to keep your job.
And like you're trying to hold on to a job.
You want to hold on to it.
And that's the thing. Whenever I'm asked a question about how people are going to finish the season, I think this way. If you're on a roll and you're playing great football, you're anticipating getting into the playoffs and doing well there. If your team is not doing well, there's some professionals who say and realize that they have to they have to play their best football because they're going to bring someone in to fix what's broken, and they don't want to be what's broken. And then you got a handful of guys every year that says to themselves, I don't think we're going anywhere. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to put out the effort. And usually that handful of guys are removed from the roster after the new people evaluate them.
So let's look at the other team there. The Jets. Should Aaron Rodgers quit? Talking about what he should do at the end of the season.
I think he's going to step down. I think that's there's room for that to happen. I know he'd probably like to continue to play, but his skills are diminished. It's obvious, at his age, and he just doesn't have the backing. There is not enough camaraderie around this game for his style of play at this point in his career. When he was with the Packers, they all rallied. Okay, that's a different scenario. Okay, you have to rally. You look at some of the great quarterbacks that have played this game. They've either played for the same team for a long time, or when they go somewhere, they're automatically welcomed into the group.
But Vince,
and
I got to ask you a question. You said step down.
Yeah.
step down. I mean, is there
Can't step any lower than he's
Well, do
been
you
playing.
mean step down or step away?
Step away.
Now,
He's got to step away, Jackie, because he's not the type of player that wants to be a backup.
But this is the conversation that I have heard. A lot of people think that Aaron is going to be the guy that makes the decision. He's the one that's got all the marbles. That he gets to decide when he leaves the game and when he doesn't.
Right.
Well, hasn't he made those decisions so far? Who's coaching? Who's going to be his receivers? Hasn't he done that already?
It would appear that way.
Well, if you still put him in control, you're still going to get what you get. Look what the outcome has been.
The
results haven't been good.
Chargers, Patriots. Chargers 40, Patriots 7. Harbaugh got that team cooking?
Chargers are doing great. Jim's got this team on a roll. This is
what
really
a culture
doing good.
he's developed.
Yeah, he has.
All right. We'll take a break. We're going to come back with more. You're watching and listening to On Point Live every week at this time. Check us out at our website, onpointlive.net. The YouTube channel, check us out. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Check us out on Instagram, on.point.live. HarmonyCheese.com is our sponsor. Enter our contest. Get a Harmony Cheese pack and some wine. Put your name and address at onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. CRN is a competition radio network. We'll be back with you on point at crntalk.com. It is On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, counting down last week's games, looking at this week's games. Check out our website, onpointlive.net, on Instagram, on.point.live, and our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. See our video up there. We do it every week, our podcast, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Don't forget our great sponsor, Harmony Cheese, has all sorts of great cheeses. Pack it up, order it. They'll send it right to your door. Go to harmonycheese.com, and we're giving away one of those cheese packs along with some fine Carissa J wine from Ferragamo Vineyards. Vince Ferragamo has a vineyard. He prunes the grapes. He harvests them along with some help from Jackie and myself. And
some Gabrielli.
And Abergelli cheese going with that Carissa J. Perfect, Jackie.
Abergelli. Oh.
Do you, by the way, in your
think
cheese
about
store, do you have a wine section there also with the
Well, I
Vince's
do.
wines?
Yeah, I do have wine right next to my refrigerator
Fair
there.
enough.
So
Put the pairing. Don't even
Yes.
have to think about it.
Don't
Go to the
even have to
site,
think about it.
harmonycheese.com. All right. Now, just before our last break, and we got a lot to talk about in this segment, let's go over some of these blowouts from last week. Ravens 31, Texans 2. Vince.
That was a surprise. I mean, gosh, Stroud
Really?
can't get it going. D'Amico Ryan's this team has been hot most of the year, but the Ravens are hot.
That's the sound of the
I don't
air
know.
out of the
Oh,
football.
Lamar Jackson is the real thing, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I wasn't surprised at all, Vince. It doesn't. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he likes the big stage. He likes going against the big time quarterbacks. And I mean, look at what he did, man.
He's got the best numbers he's putting up,
Vince-
Jackie. Of all
Vince,
the Todd Munkin has made the
any-
biggest difference. with
Biggest
this guy.
difference than anybody who doesn't consider this guy a top tier contender for the MVP award.
for
in this league.
sure.
You're missing the boat. This guy conceivably could win his third MVP award this season.
Who's that?
Talking about
Lamar
the
Jackson.
quarterback, Lamar
right.
Jackson.
I'm saying.
He had
Commanders.
144.
Move along here.
quarterback
Commanders,
rating. Yeah.
Commanders 30, Falcons 24.
Oh, that was a big game.
How about those,
Jaden
Falcons?
Daniels. I've never seen a rookie quarterback play like he has under Cliff Kingsbury. He's doing everything. Jackie said the out-leading rusher of this game.
Did John Robinson, one of the top
Yeah.
physical specimens at the running back position with the Atlanta Falcons now, he has 17 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns.
How many did Jaden
He had,
Daniels?
the quarterback had 16 carries for 127 yards rushing. Now that was just running with the football. This guy right here is playing way and above his age. He
But Jackie,
is so much more mature, so much more pocket presence, leadership. Vince, this guy's impressive. Everything about him says this guy's going to win. When you just look at him.
I was just going to say the thing that's so observable is what he does in the last 2 minutes of a game, Jackie. That's
when
where
the heat is on. When
determination.
the heat is on.
Exactly. That's how you evaluate a quarterback's performance, Mike. How he brings his team from behind. He's done it.
Perfect.
He's thrown a miraculous Hail Mary pass.
Beat Philadelphia
He's
like
very
that.
confident. I feel very confident if the ball's in his hands.
I like Jaden.
If they're behind.
Jaden
Late in the game.
Daniels.
Yeah.
They can do it.
You don't panic.
Watch out.
You don't have any anxiety
And the
about him not
Falcons
doing
needed
the right,
to win that game.
Right thing.
The
Number
Falcons
one,
needed to win that
number
game.
one seed now. The Chiefs 29, the Steelers 10. What happened?
Blowout,
there?
another blowout.
Yeah.
You know, it just goes to show you, Mike, what a totality of a team will do to any opponent.
Yes.
They can destroy you anytime.
Yeah.
They find ways to win offensively, defensively,
Defensively, and
special
special
teams,
teams.
any which way.
Not a blowout, but a very interesting game. It's talking about controlling your destiny, both teams. Bengals 30, Broncos 25. That was a tough game.
But that came right down to the wire as well. But you know what? You're talking about Joe Burrow. He's the leading quarterback right there. He is only quarterback in the history.
How many games, Vince? How many games? With
8 consecutive games, Jackie, over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Incredible.
He leads his team. He's resilient. He can do it all. He has great touch, great anticipation, great accuracy.
I would never count him out until the clock expires.
And he'll keep getting up, Mike. You know how many times he was hit as a rookie in the first, second, third year? More than you can count. Okay.
More than you can count. He got beat
five.
up.
All right.
I got 5.
Let me tell you something. He'll get up and play, and they like playing with him.
They love
Yeah,
playing.
well, don't
Lamar
count out
Chase
Bo
and
Nix. He's in the hunt now,
Higgins.
too. Come on. Everybody, especially the women. I mean, I like Bo Nix. They loving this Bo Nix.
Okay, what's making Bo Nix a great quarterback? Sean Payton. Okay, I'm just going to say it right now.
Okay, once again, leadership.
Yes.
Okay, now, so let's go.
How about the Tampa Bay game? You didn't even talk about that one.
All right, then take
Another blowout,
take
48
another
to 14
blowout,
over
yeah.
the Panthers. Baker Mayfield,
Baker
our boy,
Mayfield.
man. He's playing
On the
lights out.
rollaway. How do you throw away Baker Mayfield?
playing the
Come on,
Panthers.
he's in the count, too.
Unbelievable.
They're playing the Panthers first
hey,
off. Now
it's-
let's go in 48-14. A lot of people giving up on the Tampa Bay's quarterback there, Baker Mayfield.
You know
but
what his
he's come on
completion
strong.
percentage was
What?
in that 85%.
Perfect.
Okay, for 359 yards. You know how many touchdowns, Mike? 5. No interceptions. 153 quarterback rating. That's Baker Mayfield for you.
Baker Mayfield is a stud. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm just telling you, man.
Mike, he's in the pocket.
struts
He's
around
stepping
like a
up
peacock.
and throwing the ball.
He's as proud as a peacock. You can tell him when he walks in the stadium and starts looking it over
is,
before
man.
he goes into his
Spreading
warm-up.
his feathers out.
No, this guy's spreading his
And
feathers all around.
he gives
go.
credit to his fellow players, but that's the first Jackie Slater stud rating this year on the show. All right, let me get another game in here for you now. This might lead to something strange here, like what in the world? Vikings 27, Packers 25. Another close game, not a blowout, but what's the deal here?
Again, Sam Darnold, Jackie, taking his team from behind to win that game. And the Packers, they went ahead late. And the Vikings are resilient. They have Kevin O'Connell.
They got
Jackie,
Kevin
you know.
O'Connell, man. He's the quarterback whisperer. There's no doubt
And Brian
about it.
Flores on defense are
Brian
getting
Flores
after
on
people.
defense, getting after people, challenging them with all those unique blitzing schemes and everything. And
Are they going to be the best team in the NFC? Are they going to beat the Lions?
What Brian Flores is doing is wreaking havoc on traditional protection schemes.
Yeah, he is.
You turn the protection one way or the other, usually to the strength of the defense. But they'll show you the strength of the defense and switch it up.
Right.
And then they'll come down the middle on you with a middle dog cross with those two
Right.
linebackers down the middle, and boom, nobody is in the position to pick it up.
They're disguising their coverages, Jackie. You don't know where they're coming from.
And they're
okay?
disguising where the pressure is coming
You
from.
have to do that.
That's the toughest thing, in my
Jackie
opinion.
Slater is
excited over
losing
here.
it on this show. Those of you watching the
I'm
video.
telling you, man, it's
Wait,
a headache.
His
trying to think of these
microphone
guys.
is almost falling off the table. Can you pull that microphone
Hey,
back
but
a
what in
little
the
bit,
world, Jackie?
Jackie?
Hey,
What
Jackie,
in the
you
world?
got to go for what in the world on this one, though, man.
That
we do.
microphone is going to head over to Corey
Okay.
Marino there in a second, our producer.
Well, when you start
What in the
talking
world?
about what in the world,
Yeah.
you know, you listen to these commentators, you listen to people watching the games, and you hear them say, "Well, they've got J.J. McCarthy. They just drafted him the 10th overall pick, and then they have Daniel Jones, who just made $100 million at the Giants, and they let him go. They can afford to do without this young man, Donald." Well,
They can.
who's saying that? What? How do you, when you look at what Sam Darnold has done and what he's doing right now, with arguably the best receiver in all of pro football having a prolific season, okay, and the off receiver over there having another dynamic season. How do you take this guy? If you're worth your salty sweat as an owner and a team manager and a head coach, how do you take this young man out of the lineup?
You don't.
You figure out a way to pay him.
bring him back.
You figure out a way to pay. First of all, you know I'm partial to a good-sized quarterback like you were, Vince.
Yeah.
I love Pat Hayden as a person, but Pat Hayden was a little on the
short
small
on the
side.
side.
And so was Dieter Brock. But I love those guys. They were special guys leading at the time. But they weren't Vince Ferragamo. They weren't 6'3", 220 or whatever you were.
How big is Sam Darnold?
Well, Sam Darnold is 6'3". He weighs 225. Big physical
5
guy.
pounds on you,
Robust.
Vince.
How big is J.J. McCarthy?
You don't feel so bad if you get beat.
and he get
Exactly.
hit. But then you got J.J. McCarty, the 10th overall pick. He's 6'2", 180. 6'2", 180.
It's a big man's game.
That's like a stick, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, a linebacker rolled through that, hit him in the hips, and we got a major problem.
But it's how the players play behind the quarterback.
The
and with
leader.
the quarterback. How you bring everybody together to be at your best.
To me,
Do you see the locker room?
yes.
All right, roll that.
That locker
wait.
room-
Roll
Wait,
that in the background.
This 2 weeks in a row.
go ahead and
man.
roll
This locker room right here, if you destroy the chemistry that we as fans look and see that's going on in
They're
this
going
locker
nuts.
room.
Look at this.
By taking him out, by not
Sam
playing
Darnold,
him.
yeah.
Now, this is the second, third week in a row that they've had
Look
this
at
kind
that.
of
Look at they're
celebration.
hoisting him up
These
over
people-
everybody.
These people are acknowledging the greatness of this young man.
players.
Man, this kid's playing.
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
You can't remove him. It's like the Dodgers re-signing Teoscar Hernandez. He was there not only to get great hits, but he brought the youngsters up. And this
right.
is Darnold's got this team.
It's a cohesive
If you were a
unit. It's
quarterback,
cohesive.
they're playing for him,
magical
right?
They're
time.
playing
It's a
for him.
magical time.
It's
right
right.
now in that organization is a magical time. And if they do something to break up that chemistry, they'll be cutting their own throats. And that's from the top in ownership all the way down to the last
Much
Hey,
the
person who
same
makes
way.
Just
the
ask
decision.
Justin Jefferson who he wants to be as quarterback.
That's all they got to do.
That's all you gotta
Go
do.
and ask
Okay,
the highest
just
paid
ask him.
receiver, the highest paid receiver in pro football, who does he want throwing him the football?
Forget the highest
And
paid. He's just
then
the best,
you'll get the
overall
answer to your
best.
problem.
Much the same way Aaron Rodgers has his team playing behind him.
No, well, that's
Wait,
a
got
horse of a
quiet
different.
in here.
Yeah,
Like you
Awfully
said, in the
quiet.
Wizard of Oz, that's a horse of a different color.
Hold on a second. All right, so Vince,
Yes.
with your better lucky than good, what do you have for us this week here?
Well, I'd rather be lucky than good. Anytime Arizona was playing the Rams and they had a chance to at least put more points on the board,
Yes.
a PAT gets blocked.
Point after touchdown.
Get blocked.
It's automatic almost. And, he's filling in for the missing, Matt Prater, but it doesn't matter. You got to kick the ball through the uprights.
It never ceases to amaze me. I have, and not in one of the 20 years that I've played professional football, did this not occur, where the focus by the kickers and the specialists over there falls off, and just when we need them the most,
point.
when we need them the most,
Just make an extra point.
all week in the division after they make that
Let's
mistake,
take a
is
look
them
at it.
sitting over there at the Gatorade,
All right, let's
drinking up all the
Go ahead,
Gatorade.
go ahead, roll it. Here it is. I don't hear anything, but let's go with
When
the
you need them
He
most,
gets it blocked.
block there.
when you need it most.
That's the entire
block.
team. I mean, you got a block up front. They missed the extra point. That point was instrumental in the outcome of this game
Yeah,
because the
absolutely.
last drive of the game, they didn't need the interception.
defense.
They could have kicked a field goal
Rams,
to
great
tie it.
defense.
And that's also another indication of playing well in all three phases. Making
okay.
the effort to be good in all three phases. Special teams.
And can I make one shout
is
out?
key.
Please.
Let me make one shout out, please, for all young quarterbacks. Okay, if you are playing in the NFL, you're playing college football, you're playing high school football. If you have 30 seconds left in a game, and you have 2 or 3 timeouts, and you just completed a long pass, call timeout. Get your team down there. It takes you 20 seconds to run down the field, get lined up, call the play, and run a play. These teams are just unbelievable. You have to manage the clock. The clock is the single most important thing for the quarterback. So
All right,
learn how
now
to
we
do
got
it.
a couple of playoff spots to fill. So in the last couple of minutes of the segment, who do we see here winning? We got the Broncos, we got the Bengals, we got the Dolphins. Somebody's got to win in that division. We got the Falcons, Tampa Bay in that division. What are your thoughts on this one, starting with you?
Well,
Ben?
since I'm 100% last week, Mike.
Well, he
Okay,
can't,
here,
wait to say that.
Yeah,
can he?
Can't.
okay.
Got
All
a
right.
braggadocious.
Let me show
Yeah,
you.
very
Okay, the
braggadocious.
NFC's easy. We're going to go with Baker Mayfield. Okay, Tampa Bay. They're going to be the NFC South. Okay,
Okay.
divisional leader. They're going to make the playoffs. That's
Okay.
the only team that was in question. Okay, in the AFC, there's 3 tough teams there: the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Dolphins. Okay, a lot of scenarios have to happen for the Bengals to get in, but I like the Broncos
Hold
because
on
they're
a
at home
second.
against the
Hold on
Chiefs
a
with
second.
with Carson Wentz playing. for
Carson
the Chiefs.
Wentz is going to be playing for the Chiefs. You're not going to go Chiefs in that game?
Well, I used to
You
like
love
Carson Wentz, but
used to.
he's rusty, Mike. You know how it gets when you get old. You need time to get back in the swing of things. He's coming back from hasn't played, Jackie, for so long. I'm taking the Broncos. The Broncos are in control. If they win, they're in. They're in. That's it.
Jackie, yours.
This is the first time that he and I have agreed on every single pick.
Well, I'm going to agree with you, too. I think those should go. But maybe I'll make it real interesting so that either Jackie and I will be tied or I'll be tied with Vince. I'll go with the Bengals. And I'll go with Tampa Bay.
Bengals.
How about that?
Makes it
All right?
Baker Mayfield.
We'll see what goes on there. So you have to be a little different. I'm planning to play the odds here on this thing.
That's
here.
a long shot.
I'm protecting my former lead.
Your former
Lost
lead.
it last
That's
week.
right, you lost.
All right, check us out. You can check out our leads there on our website, onpointlive.net. Also, Instagram, on.point.live. Enter our contest. HarmonyCheese.com is our sponsor. Get a Harmony Cheese Pack, Vince Ferragamo wine, and a package there for you. Send us your name and address and phone number. Email it to onpoint@crntalk.com. CRN Talk Championship Radio Network, onpoint@crntalk.com. We'll be back. Final segment coming up to wrap things up. Don't go away. Indulge in the exquisite flavors of Harmony Cheese, crafted with passion and precision in Athens, Wisconsin. Our signature golden aged cheeses are a symphony of taste, from the tangy sweetness of cranberry and orange Abergele to the rich buttery smoothness of our aged Gloucester. Elevate your charcuterie board with our show-stopping Merlot cheddar, or savor the unique combination of flavors in our Portobello and chive Abergele. Harmony Cheese, rooted in Wisconsin tradition, crafted for discerning palates. Visit our cheese shop in Athens or shop online at harmonycheese.com. Back to On Point Live. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Michael Horn, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. All right, the MVP race here. Let's take a look at this right now. Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. The odds-on MVP odds for the MVP this year. Josh Allen of the Bills, minus 300. Lamar Jackson, Ravens, plus 225. Joe Burrow, Bengals, plus 1,600. Saquon Barkley of the Eagles, plus 1,600. Jared Goff of the Lions, plus 8,000. Those are your top five.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Well, you know what? I've been saying Jared Goff the last few weeks, and, he's going to finish strong. But the guy that's finishing fast right now than anybody else is Lamar Jackson. But he's won it twice.
Yeah.
Can he win it 3 times in a row? You know what?
I don't.
He's
I mean,
number
the bet,
two.
Numbers
I
are
mean, if you
better
want to
now
win some money,
than any other year that he's won it. His
Yeah.
numbers
Jared
are
Goff.
better now than any other year. Now, Josh Allen, I think, is a fan favorite. I think a lot of people like to see him win that because he has done some fantastic
Probably
things
why the
this
numbers
season.
are down.
Yeah.
Minus
and they were
300.
He's
yelling
done some- he's done
MVP
some-
in
Yeah,
Buffalo
MVP.
Stadium
He's
last
done
week.
some fantastic
Orchard
things.
Park.
But when you look at it, just the numbers, Lamar Jackson is going to be awfully hard.
What about
to beat.
Sam Darnold, the Vikings, plus 10,000? Bet $10, you win $1,010 total.
He's got to catapult Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen in those.
Right.
But Jared Goff can finish strong as well, Jackie.
Yes.
And
He's
they
got
have
2
to win.
games. He's got
They
2
want to
good
be
games.
the top seed in the NFC. I don't take him out of this equation
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
little
I think
soon.
if you want to, the best bet on the board, I think, is him. Saquon Barkley is tough for a running back to get MVP, as you know.
Yeah, but
Jackie.
if he gets this record, Vince,
he's going to win some award
Have
for
to
sure.
be mentioned, and certainly Offensive Player of the Year. But he'd have to be put up here with these guys here.
Jaden
that's very
Daniels,
possible.
Commanders, plus 20,000. Baker Mayfield,
that's Rookie of
Bucks,
the Year.
plus 30,000. Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs, plus 40,000. And Jordan Love of the Packers, plus 50,000.
Our Green Bay Packers.
Well, you definitely got the Rookie of the Year in there, Vince.
That's it. All right. That's our show. If you missed anything, check out our website, onpointlive.net. Get the video, get the podcast. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Instagram, on.point.live. Don't forget to enter for our harmonycheese.com package of cheese along with the Vince Ferragamo wine. Go to onpoint@crntalk.com.
We're giving it away next week,
Yeah,
right?
we're giving one of them away. We're going to give away some more, too. So enter, get your name and address, email it to onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. Thanks to our producer, Corey Marino. Always does a great job.
Fantastic job.
Thank you very much, Vince Ferragamo. Thank you, Jackie.
You're very welcome, sir.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
See you next week.
Happy New Year.